SCP-3257. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-3257 is to be kept in a secure item locker at Site-77. All SCP-3257-B instances are to be kept in a cryonic storage chamber at Site-77. Personnel are required to don Class I biological hazard attire when engaging in experiments involving SCP-3257-B's interaction with SCP-3257, to facilitate experiments involving SCP-3257-B's interaction with the Sistine Chapel or interviews with SCP-3257-A. Provisional Experiment Room 3257, per 3257, has been established underneath the Sistine Chapel in collaboration with the Holy See and City Council of Rome. Per 3257 is to be equipped with a ventilation system. Per 3257 is to be accessed via underground tunnels in Rome, Italy. Approval for the use of Per 3257 is to be obtained from the Holy See liaison to the Foundation. Following the conclusion of experiments and interviews, SCP-3257-B is to be returned to Site-77, TTT. Description: SCP-3257 is a silver-colored plastic suitcase. A label on SCP-3257 lists its destination as the Sistine Chapel in the State of the Vatican City. The interior of SCP-3257 is of pitch-black coloration, and the bottommost point, regardless of the use of additional light sources, cannot be visually ascertained. SCP-3257-A is a sapient consciousness attached to SCP-3257, represented by vocalizations produced when SCP-3257 is opened. However, SCP-3257-A cannot perceive visual and auditory stimuli introduced to SCP-3257. Languages of SCP-3257's vocalizations are in Bambara, French, and Latin. Dominique Dubois. SCP-3257-B refers to the reconstructed body of Dominique Dubois, a Roman Catholic priest of French Malian descent. Dubois is currently declared missing following a surprise attack by jihadist organization on //2013.1. The organs in SCP-3257-B are non-functional, despite being identical to a non-anomalous human body. When initially recovered, SCP-3257-B was fragmented into an assortment of bone fragments, pieces of skin, and pieces of various organs. See Recovery. SCP-3257-B displays two sets of anomalous traits when in proximity to either SCP-3257 or the Sistine Chapel respectively. Any fragment of SCP-3257-B, regardless of size, can be placed in SCP-3257 entirely, consistently disappearing from view as the fragment enters SCP-3257. Additionally, SCP-3257-B does not contribute to the total mass of SCP-3257 and its contents. These effects are not applicable to objects that are not SCP-3257-B, including objects attached to SCP-3257-B fragments. If SCP-3257 is opened while fragments of SCP-3257-B are inside, said fragments will be ejected from SCP-3257 at an average velocity of 3.5 meters per second. Said velocity increases exponentially when the volume of SCP-3257-B fragments in SCP-3257 is more than the volume of SCP-3257, during which, ejected fragments will sustain further fragmentation. In the Sistine Chapel, fragments of SCP-3257-B will levitate autonomously and attach to one another to reconstruct Dubois' body. To that end, fragments will undergo cell growth to repair damage sustained on various fragments. Simultaneously, non-anomalous white SMOK-2 is spontaneously generated. The volume of white smoke generated increases when more fragments of SCP-3257-B are in the Sistine Chapel. Additionally, while in the Sistine Chapel, stimuli introduced to SCP-3257-B are perceived by SCP-3257-A. This is used to facilitate two-way communications between Foundation personnel and SCP-3257-A through SCP-3257-B. The following are selected quotes attributed to SCP-3257-A. God told me that I would be Pope, that Benedict XVI resigned for me to step in. No offense, but the Europeans of this age are lacking in faith. It is clear that the torch should be passed to more worthy persons. I was not so sure at first, but the Lord confronted me directly. Only so few men would have such an honor. I even have some regnal names in mind. God suggested them to me. Alexander v. Eugene v. Honorius v. Anastasius v. 5 is my lucky number. It appears, time is all that is needed. I know I'm inside a suitcase, and it's rather uncomfortable here. But I do not mind a bit of suffering. The great men of the church too went through many challenges. Now it's my turn, and once I arrive at the Sistine Chapel, I shall emerge and stand among the cardinals. Sure, I might not be a cardinal. But Pope Urban VI was not a cardinal. They will all see it as a miracle, I'm sure of it. I shall narrate to them my odyssey, that God appointed me to lead his church and led me straight to the Vatican. They can doubt me, but none can doubt God. God promised me that, recovery, SCP-3257 was found in Timbuktu, Mali on //2013. It was originally held by members, who were killed while protecting the object. Under the assumption that it contained materials regarding operations in northern Mali, SCP-3257 was opened by members of the Malian National Police. Upon opening, SCP-3257 released SCP-3257-B fragments at high speeds, resulting in fatalities and injuries. Following reports of vocalizations produced from SCP-3257, the Foundation intercepted the object. Addendum 3257-1 email correspondences between Site-77 Director Shirley Gillespie and Cardinal 3, Holy See Liaison to the Foundation, hereon referred to as POI 32125. Dear Shirley, I have reviewed the latest batch of SCP items cleared under code Heavenly Pearl Key. Of note is an SCP-3257, which lists its destination as the Sistine Chapel. It is thus in my opinion that this object and the things dubbed SCP-3257-B, all of them, in fact, are to be brought to the Sistine Chapel for further study immediately. Let us not waste any time. Christ be with you, Cardinal, Holy See Liaison to the Foundation. Dear Cardinal, thank you for your initiative. However, given that there will be a papal conclave soon, experiments will have to wait until the new pope is elected. Additionally, we need to be extremely careful here. We do not know what the anomaly can do while inside Sistine. Sincerely, Dr. Shirley Gillespie, Site-77 Director. Shirley, don't mind the conclave. I insist that you permit the SCP to be brought in, Cardinal. Despite his request for SCP-3257 to be brought into the Sistine Chapel, no additional actions were known to have been taken by POI 32125. Following the election of Pope Francis on 13/03/2013, POI 32125 withdrew his request and issued an apology to Director Gillespie. A transcript of said email is as follows: Dear Shirley, I'm sorry for my previous emails. You're correct regarding your group's protocols. Frankly, I'm not sure what came over me back then or why I advocated for a mysterious item to be present for the papal conclave. I could only blame my poor health for an advanced age. Thank God that my mind was cleared in time for Pope Francis to step in. His Holiness will likely prepare a more conscientious successor for future correspondences, for I will be stepping down from all my duties at the Church. I express my humble regret that I do not intend to attend the Foundation's farewell party for liaisons. I need what's left of my mind for my own journey of self-discovery. Some questions still needed answers. Farewell. Christ be with you, Cardinal, Holy See Liaison to the Foundation. As of //2014, POI 32125 has been cited in locations in the southern United States, which are associated with the Fifth Church. Pending further investigations. Footnotes. 1. Notably, no other casualties or missing persons were reported in the incident. No calls for ransom were made by. Attackers have also left a sum of €5 million, in banknotes, at the location where Dubois was last sighted. Banknotes were scattered haphazardly on the floor. 2. In relation to the Sistine Chapel, white smoke emitted during a papal conclave denotes the successful election of a new pope. 3. Later, it was discovered that POI-32125 was associated with SCP-475. 4. Interviews with Vatican officials indicate that POI-32125 was suffering from respiratory irritation and hallucinations of white smoke from March 1 to 13 March.